Okay, I'm going to do just a couple problems from your assignment just to help you out. This is section 7.6 and it's page 294, number 7. The problem says to solve radical 7 plus 5y radical 2 equals 6 radical 7. Now we know when we work with linear equations, our job is to get the y term, which is this, all by itself. That tells me that I need to get rid of the radical 7. So to do that, I'm going to subtract radical 7 from both sides. On the left side, I've still got my 5y radical 2. On the right side, I've got 6 radical 7 minus 1 radical 7. That's 5 radical 7. My next step is to divide by whatever is being multiplied times the y. So that would be a 5 radical 2. I do it on both sides. And I see that I can cancel these 5's, and these cancel over here as well, and all that's left is y equals radical 7 over radical 2. Now I can't leave that because I have a denominator with a radical, so I need to multiply this by radical 2 over radical 2, and that gives me an answer of y equals radical 14 over 2. Okay, here's the next problem, page 295, number 17. Solve y radical 6 minus 3y equals 2. Now we know when we solve linear equations, our job is to get all of the variable terms on one side and the non-variable terms on the other side. And for this problem, that's already done. But the difficulty is that this term and this term cannot be combined, so I'm going to have to do something different. The way that we do this is we pull out the y, or whatever variable you're solving for. So I'm going to pull out the y as a common factor, and what's left is the square root of 6 minus 3. That quantity equals 2. Now, just like we would do with any other linear equation, when I have something times y, I divide by the something. So in this case, what I need to do is divide by the stuff that's being multiplied times the y, and I do it on both sides. On the left side, those cancel. And what I have left is y equals 2 over radical 6 minus 3. Now I can't leave that with the radical in the denominator, so now I'm going to have to rationalize using the conjugate, radical 6 plus 3, top and bottom. So that's going to give me 2 radical 6 plus 6 divided by, and when I do FOIL on this, I end up with just my F and my L. So when I multiply radical 6 times radical 6, I get 6. The O and the I cancel, and then I multiply a negative 3 times a positive 3, that's a minus 9. That turns into 2 radical 6 plus 6 all over negative 3. You can leave your answer like that. It is customary, however, if you have a negative in the denominator on an integer, then we put that on the numerator instead. Because, let me just come up here for a second. If I have the fraction negative 2/3, I could also write that as 2 over negative 3, or I could write that with the negative out front. Those are all the same quantity. So what we're going to do here in this bottom fraction is I'm going to rewrite this, and I'm going to put the negative on the top instead of on the bottom. So I moved the negative from being on the 3 to the top. Now inside here I've got 2 radical 6 plus 6. So my final answer, if I go through with that negative, would be negative 2 radical 6 minus 6 all over 3. That's the solution that is in your solutions packet. If this were a test, I would accept this as a final answer. But I just want you to realize that this one is the more proper answer, and that's the one you're going to see in your solutions.